Houston motions for her daughter, Bobby Christina, they're going to do something like a quarterback sneak. As Whitney is slowly turning, they're going to hand the letter off to be dealt with. But isn't it funny that Brandy is using this for a crutch to sell music? Check this out. Take it, girl. Okay, she ain't looking. Gone. Man, Lord have mercy. And this is the industry that y'all wait outside for hours and days to do American Idol, to be on X Factor, America's Got Talent. Do you understand in order to be a part of that world, you have to be demonic? You have to sleep with men sleeping with men, women sleeping with women. You have to follow rituals. You have to do blood sacrifice offerings. If not, you're not going to be a part of this world. And once you in, you can only blood out. You can never get out.
Taking responsibility of this movie that means so much to so many people, you know?
God has his own time. I have to put it in that perspective because 12 years ago, 13 years ago.
What's it been like taking the responsibility of this movie that means so much to so many people, you know?
God has his own time. I have to put it in that perspective because 12 years ago, 13 years ago, Aaliyah was to play this part. She was our Sparkle, and she was absolutely perfect for it. She wanted it, and she was preparing for it, and we were going to do this thing, and Warner Brothers had the project, and we were just all down with it, and just happened. Very sad and very memorable moment for me. I remember just crying fiercely and profusely, and I just looked up and I was like,
Whitney Houston, you know you lying. She knew all about the rituals, and she knew who, what, when, and why they had to be sacrificed. She knew why Aaliyah plane went down. She knew that Damon Dash was going to go up in the ranks. Every entertainer that died before Whitney, she knew if it was accidental or sacrifice. Aaliyah had no idea what was going on, but she played the role. She took the oath as well. She threw her hands up in pyramids plenty of times, okay? But when Whitney was speaking on Aaliyah, she mentioned that they lost a sparkle. The sparkle was the sacrifice. Whenever they put a casket on the shoulders with the fist over fist, people, this is a sacrifice, letting the elite know it's been done. Now, whoever it was done for can now move up in the ranks.
God has his own time. I have to put it in that perspective because 12 years ago, 13 years ago, Aaliyah was to play this part. She was our Sparkle, and she was absolutely perfect for it. She wanted it, and she was preparing for it, and we were going to do this thing, and Warner Brothers had the project, and we were just all down with it, and just happened. Very sad and very memorable moment for me. I remember just crying fiercely and profusely, and I just looked up and I was like, oh my God, and it wasn't even about Sparkle.
Jordan Sparks is on her way. She accepted the oath. Now she's in the process of writing her name in blood. She will start in her first picture with Whitney Houston, Sparkle. They come in so innocent, but they leave out so tainted. She knows about the all-seeing eye. She knows about the rituals. She does them all well. She has no idea how deep she's in, but yet there's no turning back because you can never get out once you're in. The only way you get out is the blood out. To look at Jordan, she's beautiful, but the Lord don't look at you outwardly. He looks at you inwardly, and inwardly, Jordan is tainted.
Were you afraid that you had lost the voice, the treasure?
I was afraid that I had lost the spirit for it.
Okay.
The spirit for it. Like,
So you weren't worried about the voice?
no.
You were worried about the spirit for
I
it.
was singing to myself and God. But I didn't think.
You notice Whitney got a finger to the temple. That goes back to the rituals. If you missed it, let's recap. Who is their master of all of these signs of the Kabbalah of Egyptology world? Aleister Crowley. That's right. Whitney Houston knew the rituals and she knew them well. She was letting Oprah know, hey, don't ask me nothing crazy. We're on the same team. Keep it moving, right? Anyways, the finger to the temple is basically illustrating the mark master mason. It's a sign of a mark master. Whitney Houston was a master of her industry. She knew exactly what she was doing.
I didn't want to be behind the mic anymore.
And Clive helped you get that back?
He told me I could do it. He said, you got to do it. I was really afraid of going back into that world called the music industry.
Whitney did not want to be a part of the industry because she knew she would have to perform rituals, sacrifices, and be demonic. Look at the interview itself. The red chairs, the red carpet. Everything about this interview was satanic and set up to feed the people, to make sure that the people would support Whitney. But in the long run, it was nothing but a sacrifice down the line.
Before we say goodbye, I want to say bravo to Clive Davis, legendary music producer. Stand up. I want to say bravo to Clive Davis, legendary music producer. Stand up. Clive Davis. Clive Davis, who first heard the voice when she was 19 years old. We just want to say thank you, Clive, for bringing Whitney back to us. How does this feel to you? How does this feel?
You know, it's one thing to discover an all-time Hall of Famer, but now after a 7-year absence and 10 years between our working together, the real question was, did the public miss her? Let me tell you something. Let me tell you that the public missed her so strong that her album enters #1 on the album chart.
Whitney Houston throws up her signs in the Kabbalah. She's giving praise and homage to Clive Davis for giving her a standing ovation. When Oprah said bravo, the name itself is satanic. You see how they coincide with each other? Whitney Houston was very aware of what was going on with Clive Davis buying all of her records. That's right, I said records, because Whitney didn't sell anything. Clive bought all those singles to make Whitney be #1. That's the way they get down because he owns the industry. Now this is the Kabbalah, what it means. They worship mercy, beauty, sovereignty, victory, foundation, glory. You see, this is the way they get down. These are satanic gods. They pray to these satanic gods and they just say God is good, but they don't mean what they say. They're talking about Babylonian gods. Nelson Mandela also worshiped the Kabbalah. See, it's all about sacrifice, rituals, and satanic Masonic folk. Folks, we can't make this stuff up. From political to sports to entertainment, they all are part of it.
be hard to beat Whitney at her peak. Hard, right? When I hear you sometimes, I do genuinely feel, and I'm not as expert like Clive is, but I feel she's nearly there, maybe as good now.
Listen, it's hard to make comparisons. For years, working with the Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, I was always said, well, can Whitney compare with Aretha? They're old-timers, and Jennifer definitely has that potential to be an old-timer. What we have to do with Top 40 Radio today, concentrating on electronica and dance music, we've got to make sure that artists like Jennifer or rock artists, the new Bruce Springsteen, the new Bob Dylan, has a chance to emerge so that
People, pay close attention to what Clyde Davis is saying. The new Bruce Springsteen, the new Bob Dylan, he's talking about killing folks off and replacing them. Whitney Houston have to go down in order for Jennifer Hudson to take her place. Right? Listen very closely on how he speak.
we've got to make sure that artists like Jennifer or rock artists, the new Bruce Springsteen, the new Bob Dylan, has a chance.
The order has been given. Whitney Houston has to go down for the Queen Elizabeth, Jennifer Hudson, and Brandon Monica. Yes, folks, this is what they do. So the order went out, and time is an essence. Remember what we said prior, that Nicki Minaj was giving a brief description of what they expect of her. The most important things was two. One was kneeling at the altar, representing a sacrifice. And number two, that she be elevated off the stage, indicating that Whitney Houston being on the fourth floor and they on the third floor for a pre-Grammy party.
Mom, come see her.
You notice when Brandy opened up her MacBook, it says Robot Film Company. Robot indicating being under control as mind control, subliminal. See, because they both give in to the ritual, so they admitting that they under mind control. Now, how often is this? You got a MacBook with 666 on it. And basically, they fooling you because they got it written in old English letterings to throw you off. But only a fool cannot see this because they idolaters. Brandy throws up the GOAT, the Baphomet, indicating that they're on point, that this video is to make a mockery out of Whitney's death. The light in the background is representing moon gods. How wicked. Look at Monica. Both of her arms out in pyramids. She has the moon god in back of her. You probably have no idea why she has her hands on her hip. That represent Ram, understanding, mind control of the Masonic world. Monica is just a straight up devil. She wearing the shirt with a sun god and it has Aleister Crowley member on her shirt. His name is Lawrence. Now let me explain this thing. What she has on top of her head goes back to Aleister Crowley's Bible teachings. She gets all of these rituals from Lawrence. Look at the picture. This is who she's mimicking in the video. But you all have no idea how these people get down. And even when we show you, you say, they just hate it. But that's fine. We're here to tell the truth on how demonic these folks are. Monica is just a straight up devil, man. You see the sun worship in her chest, Lawrence in her chest. You see the Satan satanic jewelry on top of her head. She got all this from Aleister Crowley's book. And they follow his rituals to the T. If we didn't have the video, people would swear up and down that we're making it up. But you have no idea that this is the way they get down. Man, they don't have a current bone in their body. They're just evil doers. You see the shirt? Got Whitney in the back. We're going to explain that in just a bit. When she started to cut his tie, it has nothing to do with the clothes that he bought. I know a lot of you females saying she just cutting up his clothes that she bought. No, it's a ritual. But we're going to slow it down so you can see. You see Whitney? But did you see the other thing? That's Whitney Houston, right? But look at the brother. You see his wrist is a star, and what's falling from his chest? A cut tie. So in essence, they're saying they're cutting ties with Whitney Houston, and they're going to be the new beginning. We can't make this stuff up. Notice anything different about Brandy, how she's laying in the position? Well, that's how they found Whitney. By the way, Whitney was given a knockout drug, and then they put her into the bathtub to make it look like a drowning, but she died on the floor the way Brandy is positioned. Now, Brandy took it a step further by putting her hand on her chest because Whitney died of cardiac. Her heart stopped. They're mimicking this woman's death. Watch again. See the hand on the chest? And she lays on the floor. Folks, you cannot deny truth. Kirk Franklin gets a tribute, but it was anything but a tribute. He throws up 666, and he also mocks Whitney's death. Another evildoer. He throws up 666. By the way, this man is very gay. I don't care how many women he put on his side. He don't want nothing but a big, strong, musty man. Kirk Franklin is wicked as hell.
half the room were in tears, the other half were kind of partying. What did you feel about that?
I thought that was complete insanity. And knowing Whitney, I don't believe that she would have said, the show must go on. She was the kind of woman that would say, stop everything. I'm not going to be there. You know, I don't know what could motivate a person to have a party in a building where the person whose life he had influenced so enormously and whose life had been affected by her. So they were like, I don't understand how that party
I had Clive Davis by pure chance in here on Friday night with Jennifer Hudson, and he obviously worshipped Whitney, and I think he must have gone through agony when he heard this news, knowing it was 2 or 3 hours till this event.
Right.
And I think he took the decision
Yeah.
to turn it into a tribute to her. And I understand that. I mean, he obviously was wrestling with
could have felt
the right thing to do.
That would have been right if it really was a true tribute, and and a true tribute, might have been a more honest tribute in my opinion, would have been maybe call everybody together, let's say a prayer, and let's eat dinner and go home.
Without Bobby Brown in her life.
Well, if it would rather him somebody else. If she wants to get high, if you want to get high, you're gonna get high.
And do you think she had that tendency anyway?
I think that we all, as artists, because we're highly sensitive people, and this machine around us, this so-called music industry, is such a demonic thing. It sacrifices people's lives and their essences, and at the drop of a dime.
And how did you feel when you heard that Sony, I think it was back in the UK, had jacked the prices up of Whitney's album?
It reminds me
within an hour or so of her dying.
Yeah, that reminds me of the time I had a manager once that said to me, you're worth more money dead than alive. Okay, so
Whitney's death is now complete. As you can see, the casket is on their shoulders, hand over hand, indicating there was a high sacrifice performed for Queen Elizabeth, Brandy, and Monica, and the powers that be. We cannot make this stuff up, y'all. This really happened.